Hello and welcome to the Ocado Grad Show. My name is Cece Ogini and I am a leadership and management development specialist here at Ocado Group. I have the amazing privilege to be able to welcome you on a journey to let you know what it's like to work at Ocado. I have four incredible guests that are going to walk you through their journeys. But if you're here, you're obviously really curious about what it is to actually be at Ocado. But let me tell you something about myself. I've been at Ocado for 15 years, and although I'm not a graduate myself, I know what it is like to be on the front line of my career. Right at the beginning of my journey, I worked here as a grassroots employee of a logistics company. Well, that's how we started. We have grown over the past 20 years into one of the front running tech companies, and we are truly global. We are a company that really believes in development, growth, and progression. And the guests that I've got with me today are going to walk you through what they are doing as graduates on our schemes here at Ocado. So a warm welcome to all of you who have taken the time to join us on our show today. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to work at Ocado, I'm going to give you an inside view. Well, I'm not going to give you an inside view. I'm going to get an inside view from four of our finest. Why Ocado Group? Well, we're cutting edge, we are fun, and we're going in a fantastic direction. So we have a Q&A session. So what we implore you to do, what we ask you to do is ask any questions that you want to on the channels that we have, and we'll make sure that we'll answer those for you. But let's go over to our guests on the desk right now, on my sofa, on our plush little sofa that we've got here. So let me introduce you. So first of all, we have a Londoner who has studied integrated design engineering in Bath, now spends her days with robots that are far better behaved than human beings. Please welcome our hardware hero, Henna. How are you, Henna? A little round of applause for our Henna, please. Welcome, Henna. How are you?
Great, thanks, Cece. How are you today?
Do you know what? I'm cracking on. I'm doing good. And how did you feel about your introduction, hardware hero? Does that sound about right?
Definitely hardware. Not sure about the hero, still working on that.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here at Ocado, please.
Yeah, so I'm on the hardware engineering grad program. Started here around a year ago. I've done 2 and a bit 6-month rotations so far. Spent some time on the engineering application side of things, looking at how Ocado design their buildings, looking at how Ocado manages their products, and now I'm more on the design side of things. So I'm part of the mechatronics team, helping to continuously improve and iterate our latest design of products.
I heard mechatronics. Yeah, yes. That you're a hero just for that.
Thank you.
Alone. Welcome, Henna. We're going to get a little bit more information from you a little bit later. Thank you for joining us today. Now, the next person that I'm going to introduce you to, well, this person has lived everywhere. Malaysia, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Manchester. They still chose, out of all of those places that they've gone to, the wild world of Ocado Group. So this software grad has spent a year in the bot team, keeping the robots from staging a coup. Please welcome our international code whisperer, Ashreen. Round of applause for Ashreen. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Wonderful.
That was a good intro.
You liked it?
Liked it, yeah.
I worked that all by myself, no script. But no, tell us a little bit about you. What are you doing here as at Ocado?
Yeah, as you said, I'm doing the software engineering grad scheme, and I'm in my 3rd rotation currently. In the grad scheme there are 4 rotations, 6 months each. So halfway through, basically over halfway through. I've really been enjoying it, so far.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of inside information about you, Ashley, but we won't spill the beans just yet. But thank you for introducing yourself. I'm really happy to have you here. Next up, we have a commercial grad from Liverpool who studied modern business with French and Espanol, bit of Spanish. And because why negotiate with one language when you can confuse everyone with 3 different languages in a Liverpudlian accent? Please welcome our very own Louis. How are you doing? Round of applause for Louis.
Thank you for that. That's very nice.
You're so welcome.
I'm very good, thank you. So I'm on the Commercial Solutions grad scheme.
Yeah.
Like Hannah and Ashreen, I joined just over a year ago. Okay. So in my 3rd of 4 rotations. But yeah, in my 1st rotation, I worked more in a partner-facing role, helping them to what they can get out of the from Ocado, improving that. And then in my second rotation, I was able to go and work directly at one of our partners, and then work in their trade optimization team, looking at how we can maximize trade from the website.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a completely different space. I'm working in the delivery of the installation of some of the robotic arms into our warehouses into the UK. So working on the project management side of things. So
awesome.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is diversity.
Exactly.
You came in expecting to doing one thing, and you've done a whole range of different things.
Exactly. A lot of different things. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it's perfect, really.
Fantastic. Well, good to meet you, Louis. Coming back to you, because I've definitely got some more information I'd like to uncover on your journey, but great to meet you. And last but not least, he was born and raised in Germany, studied in Regensburg, did a year at Oxford Brookes, went back to Germany, and now he's back in England crunching numbers on Ocado's finance graduate program. Please give it up for Ennis, the man who likes to analyze your spending habits, but promises not to. So hello there, Ennis.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So you're the money man, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the finance bro, I think.
Watching finance bro, watching our numbers. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
Yeah, so I'm a third-year grad. I think I'm ancient compared to you guys.
You are a bit vintage.
Yeah, part of the furniture. And yeah, I'm currently at Ocado Intelligent Automation.
Yeah.
It's my third role, basically. It's a commercial finance role where we are supporting the business. We are, looking at cost sheets. We are budgeting. Like all of that stuff, like working lots with Excel and like Google Sheets.
Love that.
Yeah, love it.
You're loving it.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your good work so far. You're the ones who kind of keeping the tight rein on like how many post-it notes we're using, and is it you that's holding us back, or?
I mean, it's so immaterial. We're really not avoiding about the post-its.
Lovely. Thank you very much for those brief introductions. And this is it now. We're family. Now that we've had our introductions, we're bringing you into the room, our conversation. Hopefully, some of our grads a little bit closer now. But this is the time now where we really ease into the conversation. We want to let people know what actually goes on within the four walls of Ocado. But we all have a view, don't we, of what Ocado is from the outside looking in. When I first joined Ocado, I joined, like I said, entry level. I was a contact center agent. The reason why I came to Ocado is because I saw a little strawberry van making deliveries down my street. And I was like, who are they? What do they do? I had no idea what kind of company it was that I joined until I stepped in. And I realized that actually this is a really cool environment. So I'm really curious to know what drew you to Ocado, what drew you to the program that you've joined today. All of you have got quite unique stories, but I'm wondering if I could maybe throw to Ashreen, because your story was quite unique. I say I'm a grassroots employee of Ocado. I say that I'm somebody that, I came in at entry level. You came in as an intern and now you're on our grad scheme. So tell us about what drew you to the internship, and then how did that progress?
Yeah, sure. So my journey began during the internship. So I did a 4-year program at university. One of those years was a year out in industry. So I was looking for internship or some experience that would give me solid software engineering technology experience. And usually you wouldn't see the retail companies invested in this much technology. And so when I saw Ocado, I was like, wow, this really like kind of stood apart Ocado from all other companies, not just the retail companies, right? Yeah. So that's what drew me in, actually, by watching the videos online. If you just search up Ocado, you'll see the bots whizzing across the grid. I was thinking, wow, like this is such a fresh approach to grocery. So yeah, I entered the Ocado world, you could say, to my internship first, and that was 1 year in one team. So I got really in-depth experience in that team. It was with the bots. So at that time, Ocado was going through a change in terms of reimagining their products that they give. One of those was the bot technology, and there were new designs, and I was fortunate enough to be able to help and develop the code and technology
in your internship.
Yeah.
Really?
In the internship. So
wow,
this is one thing that I wanted to as well highlight, is the amount of trust they gave me as a young person in the business. I was very new. I had never done in uni as well this type of like bot technology. It was very low level as well, linking to hardware as well.
And how long was your internship?
It was for 1 year.
For a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I was based in Welwyn Garden City. That was where the technology was developed, I think, first at the early stages of Ocado. So yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah.
To come on an internship and you thinking, okay, I'm going to be probably shredding paper. I'm going to be doing like sweeping up, you know, the stuff. You're actually involved, coding, integrated into the team. So obviously that gave you a taste of what life at Ocado could be like. Because obviously you went back to uni and you're like, I want another bite of the apple.
I was like, I had to have more.
I love that. I love that. And actually that's a very similar to you, Louis, on your rotations. You mentioned that kind of feeling valued in the work that it is you're doing. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I can only really echo what Ashreen said in terms of, I think when you join a team, you're new to the business, you don't really know what's going on. I didn't really have any expectations about the type of work I'd be doing, but within my first 2 weeks, I was already interacting with the clients and directly communicating with them. And I definitely felt a level of trust within me, like you were saying. And I think that gave me motivation to want to work harder because I think I saw the value in what I was doing. Like if I wasn't a grad in the team, there'd be a full-time employee doing the work that I was doing as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that I really enjoyed and I've seen throughout all my rotations is, as you said, the trust that they put into grads and interns here, I think really helps us with our development as well, because it shows that Ocado care about their grads and their interns, and ultimately they see us as the future.
Absolutely.
So they want us
I can really attest to that. You know, in some organizations, you're very much made to feel like you're entry level and this is where you're at. But here it's more, let's push you. Let's see where it is that you can go. If you've even got any suggestions, make them. And I think that's really important. It's so crucial that people feel valued. And I think it's important for our grad audience to recognize that you've already made an investment into your future going to university. You want to better yourselves. So you want to go to a company that's going to continue to nurture that curiosity, nurture your development. And it sounds like that's something that you had right from your internship now into your grad schemes now, which is fantastic. Over to you, Henna. So I know that you have a little bit of knowledge of the company and the tech. What is it that drew you to Ocado in the first place? And what knowledge is it that you've gathered about what we do here and how we use our tech?
Well, I first heard of Ocado when I was looking for a placement opportunity. Missed the boat on that one in terms of deadlines, but I was looking for something in the UK, obviously, that does robotics, and Ocado at the time seemed like a very well-established company. So I saw that when I was looking for an internship, and I thought, you know, that's the one I want to apply to when I'm looking for a grad scheme. So yeah, that's what drew me to Ocado. There was a video on YouTube about robots on the grid, and I was like, that looks really cool, and I'd love to be a part of that.
But so it's not hype then? The video's not hype, it's actually truth, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes you have like the glossy video that was like, let's just rope them in, and then they realize it's trash. But actually, what's going on here? Is it really like?
Yes. You visit a I visited a site before, and when you see it all in its grandeur for the first time, it's honestly just mind-blowing.
Quite mesmerizing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bigger, it's huge, you see all the robots and you're like, oh, this is exactly like the YouTube video, but I'm here, I'm right there
live and direct, exactly, on the front line. I love that. So just thinking about like the tech, how is it that you interact with the tech? What is it that you actually do?
So my role currently, so I'm in the mechatronics team, so we are looking at the version of the bot and how do we make it more efficient. You know, how do we make it better, faster, all of that.
And when we say the bot, what are we talking about?
So
just for our audience.
We are talking about a cuboid shaped robot that runs on an X by Y grid. And it helps with retrieval of stock and deals with all of that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much for your clear explanation on that. Over to you. So just thinking about, Enes, you're a finance rotation or scheme, I should say. And thinking about your history, where you studied and everything, you could have gone to a number of different places. I don't know, so many different accounting firms, maybe consultancy, KPMG, Deloitte. You could have gone Goldman Sachs. But you joined Ocado. So tell me, what is it that drew you to Ocado and its grad program?
I mean, when I was like looking at the job description for Ocado, I just thought, okay, like this is a place where I want to work. It has so many things like to offer. Like first of them is like the finance qualification that you get like within the 3 years. Ocado is sponsoring your qualification. Like you are working with like universities like BVP, for example, where you get all the work materials, you get like 6 hours per week where you can study for it, and then you just take all the exams. And I think anyone who knows finance, you know that you need either ACCA, ACA, or CIMA to actually kick off your career in finance. So it's like amazing when you know, like you literally get it while you work as well. Like another thing with the qualifications is that it's not enough if you just pass the exams, but you also need 3 years of work experience, which you also get from Ocado. So I know, like, for example, a couple of my friends stayed at just the exams, but then you're not still a full ACCA affiliate without actually having the work experience. So I think it's amazing that you got the chance, like, to do that at Ocado. You get to, you know, rotate like into 3 roles. And we do it like for 1 year, which is, I think, different to you guys because you have 4 rotations and you change every 6 months.
So it's a longer period.
It's a longer period, which I quite enjoy because it always takes a while until, you know, you get to use the role, like 3 to 4 months, and then after, like, you know, the like 5th and 6th month, you actually feel like really confident in what you're doing. And that just builds up your confidence, and you just get to know different areas, you know, in finance, because at uni you really don't understand how like the finance works in a real life, you know, like at a company. I, like, for instance, I really thought that finance is just, you know, like numbers and, you know, what you basically do at uni. But then when I start to work for Ocado, okay, like my first year was an accounting role. I had to post lots of journals, and you see, like, you know, 7, 8, you know, digits, like there's so many zeros, and you're just posting a journal. Like it's actually quite scary. Luckily they are being, like, of course, approved by my manager as well. But I think it's just, like it's just a lot of stuff that, you know, Ocado just offers finance grads. It's absolutely amazing.
So you've seen like a growth in your confidence then from when you first started. You've got the experience now of finance coupled with the actual learning, which is really cool. I mean, you come across as a very confident person anyway. I mean, I saw you walk in and I'm looking at the fit. I feel like you need to do a fit check for the camera, because I'm seeing the wide leg, I'm seeing the loafers, I'm seeing the Ralph Lauren. Like the confidence is real, but obviously it's the knowledge that you've gained as well. So you've talked about your qualification, so you've topped up on your qualification. So what have you done since you've been here?
So I'm doing ACCA. I have already taken 9 exams out of 13, and had 1 exemption. And I think, like, it's so good that Ocado, like our finance grad scheme leader, also kind of like tries to put into different roles which kind of align with the exam that you're taking. So while I'm studying for the paper, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I'm doing at work. And it just is like, it also makes it easier to just pass the exams, because you're
like, practically applying what it is that you're learning.
And that's so important for the exams anyway. It's like they always say, like you do need knowledge, of course, but application is much more important. And for that, you need the technical knowledge and the skills to just, you know, pass the exam. And I feel like you definitely get it at Ocado.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And just on the same track of learning opportunities, so Henna, tell me a little bit about the learning opportunities that you've had in your area.
Well, Ocado is a company that actively encourages you to learn, and that's part of why I joined the grad scheme, because every rotation I've done, I've tried to learn something more about the business, but also on a personal level. We have a number of platforms that you can register for courses with or get books to help further your learning. I have learned, since joining, I've learned new program languages. I've learned soft skills as well, some things like process improvement. And I really like that Ocado fosters that learning, and they really appreciate that. One of the things that I also like is everyone, whichever team I've joined, someone is always happy to take some time out of their day to teach you about a skill that they're an expert in. So you do get exposed to so many different technologies, so many different ways of communication, of presenting. which I really appreciate.
That's really good. I don't know if out there you're feeling the vibes on the sofa, but we're all friends here. We've only met like, I don't know, like in the last 24 hours, but the love is real here. And actually, as grads together, I want to ask about the social element of being on the grad program. Do you get together for socials, or do you kind of just do your own thing? What happens here socially?
I'll take this first since I've got the mic. But so we have a large grad community here at Ocado. Obviously, everyone has their individual schemes, but we also have large events that we all get together with. I think we had a Christmas social just last week, which was lovely. We have a social committee as part of the grad scheme, and they regularly organize things like payday drinks. We have a Christmas social, a summer social sometimes, and we also have days away. I don't know if any of you would like to go into more detail about that.
Got the end of rotation social as well. So at the end of every 6 months, obviously a year for you, we have normally a bigger social to celebrate the fact that, because getting through a rotation is a big deal as well. And like coming to the end of it, especially when you first start, you don't know what you're doing. And then by the end, you feel like you've been there for ages.
Yeah.
So I think we all try to get together at that point as well, which is always good.
Awesome. Any other social, what happens? Have you got any other social?
Yeah, I mean, as you guys have mentioned, we have lots of like, grad socials. Then we do like lots of socials within finance as well. Like we have the summer social, a Christmas social, a year-end social. After you put so much work into preparing the annual reports, which is crucial, right? Because that's what the potential shareholders are going to look at. And yeah, like I think that, like as you mentioned, like the community you have at Ocado, it's just like fabulous. Like with employees, yes, it is professional, but at the same time you have this nice chilled family kind of vibe.
It's good. It's good. I mean, because let's be real, we are working really hard here. We're a company that's going in a very strategic direction. And actually what I like is that you're all part of the journey. So as much as we're all kind of grafting, we're working hard, we also want to make sure that we're playing hard too, right? And it's that nice balance is really important as a reward, I guess, for the effort that we're putting in. So well 100%. Done for that. Really good for that. I guess what I wanted to ask you now is more around opportunities that you see for yourself after the grad scheme. So you're on your third rotations now. So you must be setting your sights now on what you're wanting to settle into. So could you talk about maybe some of the opportunities that you're looking at and pursuing, maybe once you roll off of your schemes?
Yeah, I'll start this one.
You can start, yeah. You got the mic.
So after 3 years, since you have been to 3 rotations in finance, you get the chance to pick one of the options that you get from the finance team.
Yeah.
And every year it kind of changes. So they always look at availability, and then they also then look at, okay, for example, I have been to the OIA side of the business, so I have already a little bit of knowledge there. So
what does OIA stand for?
That's Ocado Intelligent Automation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and yeah, within these 3 years, I think it does help the grads a lot to just even understand what you're more into. When I did my first rotation, I was like, yeah, commercial accounting, love it. I love posting journals. Like, this is the role I want to be in. But then next rotation, I was in commercial finance. I was like, no, this is much better. Like, okay, I changed my mind. I'm going to stay here. Third rotation, like the same thing. And I just feel like, it changes all the time. But this is the good thing about being in a scheme, right? Like, if you would, let's say, start working right after uni in one role, you don't actually know if you maybe enjoyed another area of finance much more. Yeah, maybe internal controls or audit, tax, so
yeah, cool.
It's quite useful to have rotations.
Has anyone else got any views on that? We'll work our way down. So maybe
yeah, so I'm guessing within all of the schemes, but also within the hardware scheme, is you're encouraged to do rotations which expose you to the breadth of what Ocado does and the breadth of Ocado's products. And as a result, you kind of have a good idea, not from just your own experiences, but also talking to other grads, seeing what they liked, what they didn't like as much.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to build up a good idea of, where you'd like to go. And that's part of why I joined the scheme, is because I wasn't sure if I wanted to end up in a permanent role straight away. And I like the idea of having almost 6 months tasters. basically. And there are a wide range of roles that you can roll off into.
Yep.
You can work on, for example, on the delivery side of things, or on this installation side, on the project management side. You could also go into mechanical design, electronics design. There are so many different roles you can roll off into. And yeah, there are endless possibilities, and all specializing in different parts of what Ocado does.
I love that.
Yeah.
Breadth, depth,
Absolutely.
experience. Fantastic. Yeah,
I think
Louis.
I was the same as Hannah when I joined. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to go into, and that's why I wanted the 6-month rotation, so I could go and find out, do a bit of a taster, as you said.
Yeah.
And so far, I've done one in the solutions area of the business, which is more partner facing. And now I'm in the tech ops side of the business. So I'm looking at the project management of delivery of the robotic arms into the warehouses. So there are 2 areas that I could roll up into.
Okay.
But there's also another area, which is product,
Yeah.
which is almost like the development of the existing solution we have at Ocado.
Yeah.
And that's somewhere I haven't been yet. So for my final rotation, that's where I'm looking at. But there's whatever you could roll off into is massively shaped by your rotations,
Yeah.
the work you've done, but also the connections that you've built along the way, because that's ultimately what's going to help you land a job at the end, because you can speak to them and find out what roles might be coming up in the future.
Yeah. But then I guess with the experience that you've developed and the different rotations that you've done, it broadens your perspective on where it is that you can go. Because sometimes you can get really kind of tunnel vision on this is what I've studied, so this is what I have to do. But actually now you can see how you can leverage all the different skills that it is that you've learned into so many different areas of the business, which gives you a lot more options, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's with this current rotation, that's I wanted to do something completely different to what I'd done in my first and second one.
Yeah.
And so this rotation this rotation's a lot more technical in terms of I'm working a lot closer with engineering operations managers, and so it's been a big adjustment for me in terms of trying to understand the new language that they're speaking in my mind.
Yeah.
But it's been really good because, as you said, it completely opens the floor for me to go into a completely other side of the business that I had very little knowledge on.
Fantastic.
And I think that's what the beauty of the rotations is, that you get that breadth that you're talking about.
Yeah. And Ashwin?
Yeah. For this one, I would say for software, speaking for software, there is a lot of opportunity in Ocado. One whole side of the business is Ocado technology, right? So it kind of speaks for itself. Yeah, for software, when we were choosing our rotations at the end of each rotation, there would be, I think, a minimum of 10 different placements we could go into, like in different areas of the business. So that's during our rotation cycles.
Yeah.
Imagine after, when you roll off, there's all this different schemes and different streams that you could go into. I personally, in terms of my journey so far, I've kind of gone through the different streams. So in Ocado, they have the fulfillment stream, there's the e-com stream, and then logistics and supply chain, and the automation stream. So in my internship, I was for a year in the automation, and I was deciding, maybe I should get experience on the other sides of the business as well, in fulfillment and logistics and supply chain. So that's what I've done. I've kind of strategically tried to get that breadth that you're talking about, Hannah. That's what the scheme enables breadth. But you can do so much with 4 rotations as well, right? You can pick 2 in one stream and 2 in another stream if you wanted a bit of depth, but it allows you to play with so much opportunity.
Yeah.
This young, we get this much experience, and when you compare to other colleagues in the business, they'll be like, I didn't know that. That's how it was like in fulfillment, or that's how it was like in logistics. I would say that in software that there's so much. There's so much.
It's really good to see, actually, when you think about grads who have come in and the amount of experience they've had. Don't underestimate the ability that you have to be able to connect with people across the business, that kind of networking that you have. And then you find that there are people that you will continue bumping into that can help you along in your career, that can advise you. And I think that's a really powerful thing about working at Ocado, is that despite the diversity, we are actually a really tight-knit company, and everyone's got everyone's back here. But as grads, you have that gift of being able, just by nature of what a rotation is, of just connecting with lots of different people, lots of different skills, and being able to see things from different perspectives. And that's something that Ocado really embraces, is that ability to be able to look at a problem from different perspectives. But what you have on your side is youth, which I wish I had. And I'm far from youth now, but you have the youth. And I think that's another thing that I think is really important to know, is that there's the hierarchical feel that you have in some organizations doesn't really exist here. We know who our senior leaders are, but they don't have that senior leader energy where they make you feel small in the room. In fact, what they want is to actually learn from you, bring in your knowledge, your energy to be able to make things come to life. So I think that's really important. Would you say, though, that your confidence, like you have changed from when you started on your schemes, when you entered the four walls of Ocado, that you are a different person now? Can you see that you're a kind of a different, can you talk to that a little bit? Can you talk to about who you were when you first started at Ocado to who you are sitting on the sofa right now?
I think just, yeah, massively. I think going through experiencing different teams, interacting with different people, I think you naturally expand your skill sets, and it pushes you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So what I felt comfortable doing a year and a half ago is completely different to now. Like, to give you an example, one thing that we all did, I think, was the Wild Hearts project, and that was outside of our rotations.
Tell us a little bit about that, the Wild Hearts project.
So basically, you're put into teams with a mix of different grads from different schemes in one team. So Hannah and I were on the same team, and the idea was to come up with an innovation or an idea which would help Ocado reach one of its sustainability goals. Okay. And in the end, what we had to do is show our idea, show proof of concept, show a delivery plan for it, and then ultimately present that to 5 senior stakeholders within the business. So when you're talking about, it's quite a flat structure in terms of people who are quite senior are invested in us, that's a really good example of that, is that they gave up basically a day of their time to listen to all of us present our ideas. And I think that showed to me how much Ocado's like invested in us as grads.
Love that.
And they care about our development, because it's a big commitment to listen to that. Even throughout the actual project, we had to set up meetings where we were talking to, as you were saying, people variety across the business, and learn about something that we had virtually no knowledge on, because we'd never taken a project and delivered it completely before. We had no real experience of that. And I think that was really a really useful experience to be able to put skills to the test that we'd never even tried before, and build connections throughout the business.
Awesome.
And also in the end, we had to present to about 80 people, because it was like all the stakeholders and all the other groups.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never done that before, and I think that was, although I was very nervous at the time, it's something that I feel a lot more comfortable doing, presenting now after having that experience.
Amazing. I wanted to just, in terms of your confidence, and you're on the hardware program. So your confidence when you came in, it's one of our grad schemes that is quite challenging. So how do you feel like your growth has gone from when you first started to where you are now, Henna?
I will say, if you asked me to come on a sofa and chat about the grad scheme a year ago, I might have said no. But I think my confidence has grown quite a lot. Obviously, started out a little bit smaller when I first joined, in terms of I'd listen in on meetings, and then slowly became more confident to contribute, lead meetings. And I remember at the end of my first rotation, I also presented. Like Louis said, with the Wild Hearts competition, we did present to a large number of people, but it was really the opportunity. It was for Ocado to come to us and say, as grads, if you could change anything in the business, if you could improve anything, what would you do? And so we had to come up with an idea, and pitch it to people who we thought would be able to offer some insight all across the business. And then once we had this idea, we had to develop it and also pitch the implementation. And so it's one thing to be able to listen to some half-formed idea at the time, but it's another to actually, take the time out of your probably very busy day to listen to this whole grand idea that grads have to improve the business. And a lot of people found it quite valuable. They really appreciated what we had to say, and things like that have really helped. Also within the hardware scheme, we have regular presentations just within the cohort to hear about what other hardware grads are doing in their rotations. So that gives you an opportunity to also improve on your presentation skills, because you're sat in front of the whole cohort just explaining what you've been working on, basically, and what you aim to achieve by the end of a particular rotation.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ines, you got anything to add?
Remember the first week when I started and I was introducing myself, so hello, I'm Ines, I'm just a finance grad. And then they were like, why just?
No just
exactly. But I feel like, when you just start, you just feel like, okay, like how much value can I actually add?
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, within just a couple of weeks, I got so much responsibility, like, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Of course, the whole team was supporting you throughout the throughout your process, like, to get used to all of the work. And I really enjoyed, like, how much impact my work actually was having on like the whole business.
Yeah.
It was like work that would actually change it, or where you business partner with even non-finance people and challenge it, ask questions like, oh, like we can see like a huge favorable variance here, like why did we not spend that money here, or like to just get all of these input inside, and like to understand how we can then budget better for like the next year. And like 2 years ago, I really would not thought I would be able to answer any finance related question, or have that business acumen to even,
or the financial acumen as well.
Yeah,
I mean, the financial and fashion acumen, like that is
Thank you. And I mean, now I do, right? Like, and this is really just because the whole finance team is so supportive. Like, we have listening champions as well for each of the years, as well as like the emerging talent team. Like a shout out to them. Like, they are so supportive with, doing all the events where they can help the grads to develop like skills. Even like soft skills, which are quite important, right? Like how to present, how to talk, how to actively listen, when you are talking to people. And this all just adds up, and at the end of the scheme you come out as like a professional. And what else do you want, right? Like, from the scheme.
The whole thing. I find that with Ocado, it's all about just creating well-rounded human beings. That's really what it is, and people, and the fact that there's such diversity of roles that you can do here, it helps you to be able to feel like I'm not just stuck in one place. I can actually develop extra skills. And if we've got people who are growing and they're happy, those are good people to have out in the world, right? That's essentially what it is that we want. So I'm going to the section now where I'm going to actually pick on you for some of the quirky things that we were talking about before the camera started rolling. So Ashreen, what's this fun fact that you want to tell us about you and your family legacy, we should say? What's your fun fact that you want to share to everyone out there?
I don't know if it's too much of a legacy, but yeah, a fun fact about me is that I'm a twin, and my mom is a twin as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's in our family. Yeah,
I didn't quite. That's caught me off guard. Really. Oh wow! So your name's Ashreen, and then your twin's name is Sabrine, and then you have siblings who their names rhyme as well. So quite a poetic family. So we were asking Ashreen to do a bit of a freestyle, a rap freestyle. So go.
I can't. That's too on the spot. It's too on the spot.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that to you. Although, Henna, you did say that wasn't a fair fun fact. It was almost like, come on, that's just by default.
I was born with it.
Yeah, you're born with the fun fact. So Henna, you need to come with a fun fact now that has to top the twinage element.
I mean, Cece, this is how that whole conversation started.
I know, right?
That I don't have a fun fact.
I have no fun facts. So I'm relying on you.
I don't know. I play the piano, or I used to a lot when I was younger.
And that's a great segue to our breakout area in our Trident Place offices. Has a piano. So
I have not.
Henna, when you after this, we will be now looking at you to play some concerto for us as we lunch in Tim's Diner. Yeah,
I might have to take a pass on that, Cece, but
and also Louis, you've got you come from a very prolific acting career. You started on the stage. So tell us a little bit about your stage career.
I didn't realize this was going to get brought up again. But yeah, it was just when I was 5, I went to go and see the pantomime, went to go and see Cinderella, and they were looking for volunteers to come on stage at the interval. And I was one of 5 kids who went on stage, and all the other 4 kids before me, they got a present from the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
And then she turned around and saw me at the end. and she was shocked because she thought there was only going to be 4, and she had to tell me that there wasn't going to be another present for me. And so there's
emotional time.
Well, there's 5-year-old me devastated on stage.
Heartbroken.
But I wasn't taking no for an answer. So I told her that she needed to magic one up for me because I've come on stage. I'm leaving with something.
And there ended your glittering career on stage, right?
Well, I just thought there's no topping that. So let's just leave
Ocado
it.
tops that. What do you mean?
Well, on stage, you know what I mean? So.
And Enes, do you have a fun fact just quickly before we go to our Q&A?
I'm German. I don't have fun facts. So it's like, no joking. I don't think I actually do.
No.
Like, yeah.
Whereabouts in Germany are you from, just out of interest?
Bavaria.
So
Yeah.
I just got back from Munich,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we went to a little town just outside Fussen, and it's right near the Neuschwanstein Castle. It was
Neuschwanstein. Yeah.
Sorry, Neuschwanstein. Anyway, so it was
beautiful,
fantastic.
isn't it?
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I think
stunning.
the Disney car, what the castle is inspired by, right? Yeah,
stunning.
Disney castle,
That's your fun fact. You come from a beautiful part of Germany.
Yes, that's
Wonderful.
true.
So what we're going to do now then, peeps, is we're going to go to our Q&A section because we've actually had people listening to us. People have stayed and listened to us and have questions. How does that feel? Okay, so question for whoever wants to answer. What's something that you wish you knew before starting the grad program? Louis, step it up.
I think for me, especially in terms of applying, was distinguishing between Ocado Group and Ocado Retail.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes the amount of times I've had to explain to my friends, oh, where do you work? I say Ocado, and they just assume that I'm talking about driving a van or picking avocados. And it's just like making that distinction clear in your mind and knowing what you're signing up to effectively as well.
So to put you on the spot, firmly on the spot, what is Ocado?
Well, we can provide an end-to-end solution for grocery retailers, but also non-grocery retailers in terms of helping them with their supply chain fulfillment, like the picking of products and also the delivery of those products, but also helping them. We provide the website, like e-com function for them as well. Yeah,
and it's funny how many people think that we're just a UK company, right?
Yeah.
We're truly global. I mean, we're across the world now, so that's something that's a real selling point, I think, for working here.
For me, that was something why I was interested in Ocado with my languages. I wanted to be able to use my Spanish and French.
Speak some Spanish.
It's okay.
Okay.
But like I wanted to be able to use those languages, and so in my first rotation, I was working with a French partner, and so I was able to make the most of my degree.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well done. Does anyone else have something they want to share? Something they wish they knew before starting the grad program? Enes.
I think it's probably the different certificates. Like, I kind of did not do enough research, I think, like if I should do ACCA, CIMA or ACA.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started, we did not have the option to do ACA, but it just recently got added.
Okay.
And then also to just, be aware that you should be on it. Like, you have to take the exams like regularly and just have that discipline and, be like persistent with it.
Got you.
Yeah, I think I wished I knew that.
Okay.
Before I joined.
Okay. Cool. Ashrin, did you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a bit on software. I think the sometimes the opinion when you go into interviews for software, it's just technical driven and you have to be really good at solving problems. But there's also the values aspect. Ocado really value that basically. And I think it's good to highlight that in your interviews. So don't be afraid to talk about what sits with you and what you value in a workplace to see you're the right fit, essentially, because it goes both ways, right? During the interview process. Ocado usually do technical interviews, but there's also values. They both hold almost equal in weight, you could say, right? And I would say don't think that as a side thing, right? Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going to stick with you then. So which program languages and technologies are used to develop the robots here at Ocado?
Yeah, so for the robots specifically, it's quite low level, hardware based, quite close to hardware. So we use C and C++, mainly. And that's the main build system. There's other apps that Ocado develop in other rotations that I've done. Those are more high level, so they use Java and things like that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. This is a question for all of you then. So for the first few months after joining Ocado, what made the biggest difference in helping you settle and succeed into your schemes and into the rotations that you're doing? So what was the biggest thing?
I could quickly go on this. I found that assigning us a buddy on the first day that I got in. So this was the first day of my internship, first day of my grad scheme, first day of each of my rotations. They made sure that we had a buddy next to us that could answer all our questions. Say, because you're quite intimidated when you go in first, right? You're like, oh, what will they think of me? Do I have enough experience? I have no idea about this domain. But that's the role of the buddy. So they'll be sitting with you for that first week. And also, for example, in my current team now, what I found was quite useful was these pair programming sessions specific to software, kind of. And this would be really focused in on a ticket that they assigned you, the first ticket, the first piece of work you've got, and they'll sit next to you and pair with you on it. So you already get the hands-on experience with working with someone. So again, this brings soft skills as well, and you have to be able to collaborate with your peers. Software is not all about putting your head down. It's about also collaborating and communication.
Massive skills. Yeah. Thank you.
Just to add to that, in terms of helping us settle at the start, I'd say two things. Because you're joining with the rest of your cohort, you know, you're not in it alone. Like there was 7 of us who joined, and that was really useful in terms of you were able to talk to each other and share experiences of what other people experiencing the same thing as you, how did they overcome it, and that was really useful. But also the emerging talent team, in terms of any issues that I've ever had or I know other people have reached out to them, they're really helpful and offer support and are basically a soundboard for you if you just want to have a moan, or if you just want, or you actually have a problem where you need some help with. They've been really, really helpful.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, Hannah?
Just to kind of add to both of what you said is obviously when you join, you have like a generic induction that introduces you to the rest of the cohort, and you also meet people from other schemes. But for the hardware scheme, you also have a separate induction, which is a little bit more technical. But we also did do like a couple of site visits. We did an overnight stay. So I spent a lot of time with my cohort, which is good because, you know, we all get to know each other quite well, even just outside of work. You know, we were all staying at the same hotel together, which is nice. And then by the time you start your role, you kind of see your friend in a team across, and you've already got like a little group of friends spread across the business before you even properly start your role, which is, I really appreciate it.
Fantastic.
I think for me it was that, I mean, the first couple of weeks you have meetings with ACCA. I bet you do the same with like CMA and AC as well, but also with BUP University. And I thought it was very useful because my first and second year's line managers, they were both former finance grads who also did the scheme. So it was very like important for me to like get their valuable, you know, tips, how they managed work and exams at the same time. So they, you know, like they would always, you know, say, I'll create a plan, you know, like really just book your calendar off, you know, like book your study leave and just, you know, study, like don't reply to any messages or anything, just, you know, just focus and then just get on.
It's good advice. 100%. Really good advice. Okay, then. So I'm just going to ask each of you a question now. We've got, the questions are piling in. We are popular people on this here show. So have any of you relocated to join the grad scheme? So yeah, all of you have. Okay, cool. Just check in. So it is possible to. You did it. Oh, where do you live?
I moved back in with my family, so I'm living in London.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't relocate.
And would you say, and just this is just like nods, would you say that it's been worth the investment for you to relocate to work here? Yeah. Awesome. And I think maybe I'll go to you, Ashrin. If you were to go back in time to speak to yourself at the start of the grad scheme, what advice or encouragement would you give yourself?
I would say don't be nervous. Don't be like nervous to go in. I think sometimes when you don't know the company, you always have that nerves. But coming in and doing the internship as well, they trust you.
Yeah.
They don't doubt you, and so it helps you to gain more confidence, right? That really helped me when I first joined in the internship. So it gave me that confidence when I came to the grad scheme.
So don't doubt yourself. Like the fact that you're here means you're here for a reason. So trust yourself.
Yeah.
Great advice. Over to you. I wondered if I could ask you, if you, Louis, could give one piece of advice to someone who wants to join Ocado, what would it be?
I think in interviews and in the general application process, I think if you can find a story about or find a reason why you want to work for Ocado, whether it's even just mentioning that you've watched this live stream, or I know there's stuff on Spotify, like there's a former podcast that they used to do, and I think just showing that interest that you've gone out of your way to show why you're interested in Ocado will go a long way. And I think just try and find examples, especially when they're going to ask you some competency-based questions. Just think about examples. They don't have to be work-related. You'll have done things in your life effectively, which will display some of the soft skills that they're looking for. And I think just try and tell that story and try and make it engaging, because ultimately they want someone who's going to remember. They're going to remember you.
I love that. So focus on your why. Really be clear as to your reason, and then just think about how you can tell the story of your connecting your why to how Ocado can kind of fit that.
Absolutely.
Great advice. Great advice. Over to you, Henna. So obviously you're on the hardware scheme. What has been your happiest moment at Ocado, or what has been the most challenging moment?
I'll go with challenging just because something immediately sprang to mind. Is just joining a new rotation. That's all it is. It is because obviously you're jumping around teams around the business. You can get to a point within those 6 months where you build yourself up in a particular skill, and then all of a sudden you join a new team and you're learning a completely different skill set, which isn't a bad thing at all, but it can be a little bit challenging at times. For example, I can say, oh, I spent the last 6 months learning this thing, but the team doesn't use this thing, they use this other thing. So it is a little bit challenging getting to grips with that, but also looking back at how much my skill set has grown. Like, I wouldn't change that for the world.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And Ines, so for you then, what kind of support or mentoring has been most helpful to you during your scheme?
It was definitely the mentoring you get directly from your line manager. Like, you have regular one-to-ones. They always ask about, like, like what kind of skills you want to develop, like, what kind of areas you think, you need improvement. And I know I can always reach out to my line manager and ask for help, and ask for advice. I mean, they have been, in the business for much longer, like in a finance role as well. Like, it's so easy to just reach out to anyone. Like, I don't think it's just finance, but probably like, anyone at Ocado.
Cool. Okay, I've got quite a meaty question here for someone to answer, so you can put your hand up for it. So for someone coming from a software engineering background, but interested in growing into data work, which parts of your grad program or project structure help you to explore different technical paths?
I was going to say that's one for
Yeah, so in the software program, it's not just the software engineering role that exists. There is several other roles. So there's the data role that you brought up. I'm not specifically in a data role, but I can say that there are several positions, like in the team right now I'm in. The team is split into software engineers and sort of this role called simulation research engineers. So they do more of the data analysis. So I would say that if you want to go into data, reach out to, obviously in your first rotation you might not be able to reach out to many people because you haven't built that network yet, but during your rotations in between, I would say reach out to the line managers when you come to choose your rotations and say, like, do you have any data specific roles, and do you work with data a lot, to kind of figure out which ones align better with you, like whether you like data, whether you want to kind of like approach it in a different way, right? But what was the second part of the question?
It was basically, I think you've really answered it, to be fair, because it's just about being confident to reach out to people, right? So however it is that you want to grow, it's really in your hands, right? To take hold of your career path, your direction, your development journey, and just reach out to people. It might feel a little bit intimidating being a vast organization, but everyone really is here to support you, whether it's a technical path you want to go down or whatever way it is you want to go. It's connecting and networking with people. So I think it's the confidence to be able to do that. And you have to be here to really understand that this environment is a really supportive environment. We're saying it, but when you're here, you recognize that actually everyone's here to support. You could literally just send someone a message, a Slack message, and they'll be willing to support you.
Yeah, I would say one thing as well. When I was deciding my rotations, I did not go off my gut feel. That was my first instinct to do that, because I was a bit like, oh, how do I reach out to this person? But basically, you kind of have an awareness of who's gone to which teams, and so you can just directly reach out to them and ask them. That actually helped me choose what I want, where I am today.
Yeah. I've got one more question, because I think we're almost at time. We did it, guys. We really did this. What would you say are the qualities that you think have helped you to succeed on this program? Henna, thank you.
I can take this. I think it's just a willingness to embrace whatever. Is a quality that I've really helped. I'm trying to remember the question at the same time. But yeah, I think a lot of everyone is willing to appreciate the fact that you just want to learn, you want to get better, and it's that skill of continuous improvement which Ocado really appreciates and really fosters.
I think as well, taking initiative, like if you can see something that needs doing, don't wait until your manager says, oh, could you pick that up? Just go and do it, like, because I think that'll go a long way in terms of how people perceive you, and I think that's one of the most important things in terms of success in jobs. Is like what people think about you.
Initiative.
So I think taking initiative and just try not to go with a problem to a manager, try and like show that you've thought of a solution, even if it is the wrong one. I think it just shows that you've put an effort rather than just trying to put something on their plate instead.
Awesome.
I did want to say as well, don't be afraid to ask as many questions, even if it's the same questions. I was told this, I think almost at the start of each of my rotations. In software, there's so much in software, and there's so much like general and specific stuff to what you do, basically, and you don't want to assume, you want to be brave enough to ask, right? I would say that's what's helped me. I've developed in that way, that I'm brave enough to ask the questions.
I love that. And as final word, we've got like 10 seconds for you before we wrap up.
I think I would just say, like, be motivated, because Ocado does has, the tools and the skilled people who can give you like so much. Just be motivated, have the fire, and you will definitely succeed in any role.
Fantastic. Thank you very much to our panel, Ashreen, Louis, Henna, Enes, and there you have it. So basically what we're saying is use your initiative, be brave, and look into Ocado if you are wanting to go join a grad scheme. If you want to apply, the applications for the hardware and software programs open on Monday, Monday the 15th. And for UX, commercial and finance, we'll be opening applications in the new year. So if you haven't signed up already, please go to our registered interest list. You can scan our QR code on the screen to sign up for those, and you'll be the first to know when our schemes are live. The key takeaways today: Ocado is a growing company. We are a supportive company. We are ready to welcome you. And like we said already, you've invested your time and energy to go on a course, on a degree to help you go forward. You've learned what you need to learn to come here, apply the skills, and you get to interact with these amazing human beings. So thank you very much for joining our stream today. My name is Cici Ogini. This has been the Ocado Grad Show. Thank you and goodbye.